I knew tonight was wrong. Completely wrong. But my best friend Hendrix had insisted, "Evan, you always stay home. Come on just once. Let's enjoy at the club." And I only agreed because his wedding was next month. And maybe this was the last time we'd all be together like this. But now, standing in front of Royal Crimson Club's entrance, my entire body was trembling. Because here only perfect bodies came, sharp jawlines, flat stomachs, everything picture perfect. And then, there was me, Evan Parker, chubby, soft, and completely out of place. We entered and the first few minutes felt normal. The music was loud, lights blinking in neon pink and purple, and people's laughter, drinks, everything felt like a strange world I'd never belonged to. But then a group of alphas noticed me. In their eyes I saw what I'd always seen: judgment, mockery, disgust. "Hey look, did some Omega escape from the buffet?" one said, and they all burst out laughing. My heart pounded hard. I looked down at my shoes. Hendrix grabbed my hand. "Ignore them. Evan, forget these guys." But the words had already penetrated. Inside me. Into my chest. They didn't stop though. How did this one even get entry to the club? VIP is out of the question. He shouldn't even be in the general section. My breath caught in my throat. I wanted to leave right then, but before I could move, suddenly the entire club went somewhat quiet. The music was still playing, but people's attention had shifted. I didn't understand at first, but then I saw him. An alpha, black tailored suit, sharp jawline, gray eyes that scanned the room like everything was under his control. And behind him, bodyguards. This wasn't any normal alpha. This was something else entirely. I'd heard the name before. Cyrus Graves. The city's most powerful mafia alpha. Dangerous. Ruthless. And here, he was walking straight toward me. My heartbeat became so fast I thought I might actually have a cardiac arrest. Because he wasn't stopping. He came right up to me and stopped directly in front of me. His scent, cedarwood, smoke, authority completely surrounded me. I couldn't even move. And then, Cyrus did something I'd never imagined would happen to me. He lifted my chin with his finger, raised my face up, and he placed his lips on mine. Soft, possessive, filled with authority. The entire club went silent. When he pulled back, he looked into my eyes and said just loud enough for everyone to hear, "This Omega is my VIP guest tonight. Anyone who touches him, insults him, will deal with me." I looked into his gray eyes and for a moment my mind went completely blank. Was this real? Or was I dreaming? But his grip on my waist was still there. Firm, warm, real. And his scent was entering with every breath I took. Intoxicating me. My Omega instinct was responding, and I couldn't control myself. The alphas who had mocked me moments ago now looked terrified. Their faces had gone pale. One of them tried to stammer an apology, but Cyrus didn't even acknowledge them. His focus was entirely on me. "Can you walk?" he asked quietly. His voice gentle despite the commanding presence he had. I nodded, not trusting my voice. My legs felt like jelly, but somehow I managed to stand properly. Cyrus kept his hand on the small of my back, protective, possessive, claiming. The touch sent shiz through my entire body. As we started walking toward the VIP section, I could hear the whispers erupting around us. Who is that Omega? Did Cyrus Graves just claim someone publicly? He's never done that before. The voices blended together into a confusing buzz. Hendrix caught my eye from across the room. His expression was a mixture of shock, concern, and something else. Maybe relief. He gave me a small nod, as if saying, "Go, you're safe." I wanted to tell him I'd text him later that I was okay, but words wouldn't come out. The VIP lounge was on the second floor, accessed by a private elevator. As we waited for it, Cyrus positioned himself slightly in front of me, blocking me from the curious stares of clubgoers. It was such a subtle gesture, but it spoke volumes. He was already protecting me, shielding me from unwanted attention. The elevator ride was silent. I was hyper-aware of everything, the soft music playing in the elevator, the warmth radiating from Cyrus's body, the way his jaw was clenched as if he was controlling some intense emotion. I wanted to say something, anything, but what do you say to a mafia boss who just kissed you in front of hundreds of people? When we reached the lounge, He guided me inside with a gentle hand. The space was intimate, soundproof glass walls that overlooked the club below, black leather furniture and lighting so dim that only his gray eyes seemed to shine when he looked at me. We were completely alone now. Cyrus gestured to the couch. "Sit, please." I sat down carefully, my hands clasped in my lap to stop them from shaking. He sat across from me, not too close but not distant either. The perfect distance for a conversation. I realized he was being careful not to overwhelm me more than I already was. "I'm sorry if I scared you," he began, his voice softer now. "That wasn't my intention. But when I heard what they were saying to you," he trailed off, his jaw clenching again. I could see the anger there, simmering just beneath the surface. But it wasn't directed at me. It was directed at those alphas who had humiliated me. You didn't have to do that." I finally managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. "I'm used to it. The comments, the looks. It's nothing new." "It should be new," Cyrus said firmly. "No one should ever make you feel less than what you are. And what you are, Evan, is worth protecting." The way he said my name, like he'd been saying it for years, like it belonged in his mouth, made my heart skip several beats. How did he even know my name? Had he heard Hendrix say it earlier? "How do you know my name?" I asked, curiosity overcoming my nervousness. A small smile played at the corner of his lips. "I make it my business to know things, especially when someone, catches my attention the way you did." "But why?" The question burst out before I could stop it. "Why me? I'm nobody. I'm not attractive by anyone's standards. I'm overweight, I'm awkward, I have nothing special about me." "Stop." His voice cut through my self-deprecation like a knife. "Don't ever say that about yourself again. Not in front of me." He leaned forward, his elbows on his knees, bringing him closer to me. "You want to know what I saw when I walked into that club tonight? I saw someone who was uncomfortable but stayed for his friend. Someone who took cruel words but didn't retaliate. Someone whose eyes held pain but also kindness. That's what I saw. That's what caught my attention. Not some superficial standard of beauty but real substance, real worth." Tears pricked my eyes. Nobody had ever said anything like that to me. Ever. "I don't understand any of this," I admitted, a tear sliding down my cheek. "This morning I was just regular Evan and now you're under my protection," Cyrus finished. "And I don't take that lightly. When I claim someone, Evan, it's not temporary. It's not a game. It's permanent." The weight of those words settled over me like a blanket. Heavy but somehow comforting. Cyrus stood up and extended his hand to me. "Come with me. Let me take you somewhere more comfortable. We need to talk properly and this club isn't the right place." I hesitated for only a second before placing my hand in his. His fingers wrapped around mine, firm but surprisingly gentle. As we walked back through the club, I noticed the dramatic change in atmosphere. People weren't just staring anymore. They were actively moving out of our way, creating a clear path. Some even bowed their heads slightly as Cyrus passed. The power he commanded was both terrifying and mesmerizing. Hendrix was still near the bar, and Cyrus walked us over to him. "Your friend is safe with me," Cyrus told him directly. "He'll be staying at my residence tonight. If you need confirmation that he's all right, he can contact you." Hendrix looked at me, concern written all over his face. "Evan, are you okay with this? Say the word and we leave together right now." I appreciated his loyalty more than words could express. But something inside me, maybe my omega instinct, maybe just intuition, told me I was safe with Cyrus. Safer than I'd been in a long time. "I'm okay," I assured Hendrix. "I'll text you when I get there and we'll talk tomorrow. Go enjoy your bachelor party. Don't worry about me." Hendrix studied my face for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "You better text me, and if anything feels wrong, call me immediately. I don't care who he is." Cyrus's expression showed a flicker of respect at Hendrix's protectiveness. "Your loyalty to your friend is admirable. He's lucky to have you." Outside the club, a sleek black Mercedes waited, surrounded by what I now recognized as Cyrus's security team. They were subtle but alert, watching everything and everyone. One of them opened the back door and Cyrus gestured for me to enter first. Once I was settled inside, he slid in beside me, maintaining that same careful distance he'd had in the lounge. As the car pulled away from the club, reality started to sink in. I was in a car with Cyrus Graves. The Cyrus Graves. The man whose name was spoken in hushed tones, whose reputation preceded him everywhere, and he had claimed me, publicly, in front of everyone. You're thinking too much, Cyrus observed, his eyes on me. I can practically hear the gears turning in your head. Can you blame me? I replied, finding a bit of courage. This is insane. A few hours ago I was trying to figure out how to survive a club night, and now where am I exactly? Going to my home, he answered simply. My penthouse. It's private, secure, and we can talk without interruption. You have questions, I'm sure. And you deserve answers. The drive through the city felt surreal. Buildings passed by in a blur of lights, and I found myself wondering what my life was going to look like after tonight. Everything had changed so fast. Too fast. Are you afraid of me? Cyrus asked suddenly, his voice quiet. I considered the question honestly. I should be, shouldn't I? You're a mafia boss. Your reputation is intimidating, to say the least. But no, I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid of this situation, of not understanding what's happening, but not of you personally. Something in his expression softened at my words. Good. I never want you to fear me, Evan. What I did tonight, claiming you, I know it was sudden and probably overwhelming. But it wasn't impulsive. The moment I saw you, something in me recognized something in you. My alpha knew you were mine before my brain could even process it. How does that even work? I asked, genuinely confused. We don't know each other. We've never met before tonight. Sometimes knowing someone isn't about time or history. Cyrus explained, it's about recognition. About seeing someone and understanding, on a fundamental level, that they fit with you. That they complete something you didn't even know was incomplete. His words were so sincere, so raw, that I didn't know how to respond. We spent the rest of the drive in comfortable silence, which surprised me. Silence with Cyrus didn't feel awkward or tense. It felt natural. The penthouse was on the top floor of one of the city's most exclusive buildings. As we entered, I was struck by the contrast of the space. It was modern and clearly expensive, but it also felt lived in. There were books scattered on tables, a coffee mug left on a side table, personal touches that made it a home rather than just a showpiece. Are you hungry? Cyrus asked, shrugging off his jacket. Without the formal wear, in just his black shirt with rolled-up sleeves, he looked less intimidating and more human, real. I'm okay, I said, though my stomach chose that moment to growl softly. Betraying me? Cyrus smiled. An actual, genuine smile that transformed his entire face. Come on. Let me make you something. When's the last time you ate? I had to think about it. Lunch, I guess? I was too nervous about tonight to eat dinner. He led me to a surprisingly homey kitchen and started pulling out ingredients. Sit, he instructed, pointing to a stool at the kitchen island. And talk to me. Tell me about yourself. I want to know everything. As he cooked, actually cooked, not just heated something up, I found myself opening up in a way I rarely did with anyone. I told him about my job at a small bookstore, about my love for reading, about how I'd always been the odd one out, never quite fitting in anywhere. He listened attentively, asking questions, showing genuine interest. You said you work at a bookstore, he said while chopping vegetables. What kind of books do you like? Everything, really. But I'm drawn to stories about people who find where they belong, who find their place in the world even when it seems impossible. I paused, realizing the irony. I guess I'm always looking for that in fiction because I haven't found it in real life. Cyrus stopped chopping and looked at me directly. Maybe you've found it now. Maybe that's what tonight was about. You finding your place with me. The intensity in his eyes made my breath catch. Before I could respond, he returned to cooking, giving me a moment to collect myself. He made pasta, simple but delicious. As we ate, the conversation flowed easily. He told me about his childhood, about how he'd inherited his father's organization and transformed it. He was surprisingly open about his life, about the loneliness that came with power, about how he'd built walls around himself that no one had managed to penetrate. Until you, he added softly. Somehow you walked right through every defense I have. After dinner, he showed me to a guest room. This is yours for tonight. The bathroom is through that door, and there are clothes in the closet that should fit. If you need anything at all, my room is just down the hall. At the doorway, he paused. Thank you for trusting me tonight, Evan. For giving me a chance to prove that what I said at the club wasn't just words. You're safe here. Always. After he left, I sat on the edge of the impossibly comfortable bed and pulled out my phone. True to my promise, I texted Hendrix. I'm safe. He's surprisingly nice. We'll explain everything tomorrow. His response came immediately. Glad you're okay. Call if you need me. Anytime. As I lay in bed that night, surrounded by Cyrus's scent even in the guest room, I couldn't help but wonder what tomorrow would bring. Morning sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows woke me. For a disorienting moment, I forgot where I was. Then everything from last night came rushing back. The club, the mockery, Cyrus, the kiss, everything. I sat up quickly, my heart racing, and looked around the elegant guest room that had been mine for the night. The clock on the nightstand read 8:30. I'd slept surprisingly well considering the upheaval my life had gone through. Getting up, I found the bathroom and was amazed at the luxury: a rainfall shower, expensive toiletries, everything pristine and perfect. After showering and dressing in the clothes Cyrus had mentioned, they fit surprisingly well. I ventured out of the room. The penthouse looked different in daylight. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed a breathtaking view of the city skyline. I could see people going about their normal lives down below, completely unaware that my entire world had shifted on its axis last night. Good morning. I jumped, startled, and turned to find Cyrus in the kitchen doorway. He was already dressed in dark slacks and a crisp white shirt, looking every bit the powerful businessman. But when he saw me, his expression softened in that way I was beginning to recognize. Did you sleep well? He asked, walking toward me. Better than I expected, actually. I admitted. Your guest room is more comfortable than my entire apartment. He smiled at that. I'm glad. Come. I've made breakfast. I wasn't sure what you liked, so I made several options. The dining table was laden with food: scrambled eggs, bacon, fresh fruit, toast, pancakes, coffee, juice. It was overwhelming and touching at the same time. This powerful, dangerous man had made me breakfast. Multiple options. This is too much, I said, somewhat stunned. Nothing is too much for you, Cyrus replied matter-of-factly, pulling out a chair for me. Sit. Eat. We have things to discuss. As we ate, I couldn't help stealing glances at him. In the morning light, I could see details I'd missed last night. The slight stubble on his jaw, the way his gray eyes had flecks of silver in them, the way his hands moved with precise confidence even while doing something as simple as buttering toast. You're staring, he observed, amusement coloring his voice. I felt heat rush to my cheeks. Sorry. I'm still trying to process all of this. Yesterday I was invisible, and now I'm having breakfast with Cyrus Graves in his penthouse. It's a lot to take in. You were never invisible, Evan, just overlooked by people who weren't paying attention. He set down his coffee cup and looked at me seriously. I need to ask you something important, and I need you to be completely honest with me. My stomach knotted with nerves. Okay, do you want to go back to your life as it was? I meant what I said last night about claiming you, but if this isn't what you want, if you'd rather return to your normal routine, I'll arrange it. I'll make sure you're protected and that what happened last night doesn't cause you any problems. But the choice is yours. The question hung in the air between us. Did I want to go back? Back to my small apartment, my routine job, my quiet existence where I was always on the outside looking in. What would staying mean? I asked carefully. What exactly are you offering? Cyrus leaned back in his chair, his gaze never leaving mine. It means you'd live here, with me. It means I'd provide for you, protect you, give you anything you need or want. It means you'd be mine in every sense of the word. My omega, my partner, my responsibility, but it also means entering my world, which isn't always pretty or safe. I have enemies, Evan, dangerous ones. Being with me puts a target on your back. You're being very honest about the risks, I noted. I won't lie to you or sugarcoat reality. You deserve to make an informed choice. He paused, seeming to struggle with his next words. But I also won't lie about what I want. I want you to stay. From the moment I saw you, something clicked into place. My alpha recognized you as mine, and that's not something I can ignore or walk away from. But your wants, your needs, your comfort, those matter more than what my instincts are telling me. The vulnerability in his admission struck me deeply. This wasn't just about claiming or possession. He genuinely cared about what I wanted. I need to think about it, I said honestly. Not because I don't want to stay, but because this is a huge decision. My entire life would change. Take all the time you need, Cyrus assured me. In the meantime, stay here. Get comfortable. See if you can imagine this as your life. There's no pressure. His phone buzzed then, and when he looked at it, his entire demeanor changed. The soft, caring alpha disappeared, replaced by the cold mafia boss I'd glimpsed last night. His jaw clenched and anger flashed in his eyes. What's wrong? I asked, concerned. Business issues. Some people are testing boundaries they shouldn't be testing. He stood up, his movements tense. I need to handle this. It shouldn't take long, but I need to go to my mas. He walked over to me and gently cupped my face. Stay here, don't leave the penthouse. My security team is stationed throughout the building, and they've been instructed to protect you. If anything feels wrong, if anyone tries to contact you or approaches you, call me immediately. My number is already in your phone. I'll be fine. I tried to assure him, though his intensity was making me nervous. He leaned down and pressed his forehead against mine. I don't like leaving you, but this can't wait. I'll be back as soon as possible. Promise me you'll stay inside. I promise. He kissed my forehead, a gesture so tender it made my heart ache, and then he was gone. The penthouse felt much larger and emptier without his presence. I spent the next hour exploring more of the space. Cyrus's study fascinated me the most. Walls of books, a massive desk, and yes, a cabinet with weapons that made it very clear what kind of man he was. But among the dangerous elements were personal touches. Photographs of what must be his family, a collection of vintage fountain pens, first edition books carefully preserved. I was reading the titles on his bookshelf when the penthouse doorbell rang. My heart jumped. Cyrus hadn't mentioned expecting anyone. I walked to the intercom and checked the screen. A woman stood there, impeccably dressed in a designer suit, her expression cold and calculating. Something about her immediately set off alarm bells in my mind. Evan Parker? She said into the intercom. My name is Serena Blake. I'm a business associate of Cyrus's. He sent me to check on you and discuss some important matters regarding your arrangement with him. Every instinct I had screamed that something was wrong. Cyrus had been specific. Stay inside, don't let anyone in. But what if she was legitimate? What if this was some test or actual business? Cyrus didn't mention anyone coming by. I said carefully into the intercom. It was last minute, she replied smoothly. There are some security concerns he wanted me to address with you directly. It's rather urgent, and it won't take long. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the door release button. Everything in me said don't do it, but a small part of me wondered if I was being paranoid. Maybe this was normal in Cyrus's world. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. Serena entered with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. As she passed me, I caught her scent, beta, cold and artificial, with an underlying sharpness that made me want to step back. Thank you for letting me in, she said, looking around the penthouse with an appraising eye. Cyrus has told me so much about you. You've certainly made quite an impression on him. What did you need to discuss? I asked, staying near the door, keeping my exit clear. Serena turned to face me fully, and her expression shifted from false warmth to something much colder. I think you and I need to have a very frank conversation about your future with Cyrus Graves. One that addresses some Mars realities you clearly haven't considered. The sharp click of Serena's heels against the marble floor echoed through the penthouse as she circled me like a predator assessing prey. My instincts screamed at me that I'd made a terrible mistake letting her in, but it was too late now. She was already here, and something about her cold beta scent made my skin crawl. You seem nervous, she observed, her tone falsely sweet. There's no need to be. I'm simply here to have an honest discussion about your situation. My situation? I echoed, trying to keep my voice steady. What do you mean? Serena stopped pacing and turned to face me fully. Her perfectly painted lips curved into a smile that held no warmth. Your relationship with Cyrus Graves. Surely you understand what you've gotten yourself into. Or are you that naive? I bristled at her condescending tone. I know exactly who Cyrus is. Do you? She laughed, the sound harsh and mocking. You know his reputation perhaps, but do you understand what it means to be connected to him? The danger, The constant threat, my hands clenched at my sides. Cyrus told me there were risks. He was honest about that. Honest, Serena repeated, as if tasting the word. How charming. But did he tell you about the families he's destroyed, the businesses he's crushed, the people who would do anything to hurt him by targeting what he cares about? She moved closer, invading my personal space. I forced myself not to step back, not to show weakness. You're a target now, Evan. A bullseye painted on your back the moment Cyrus claimed you publicly. His enemies saw that display at the club, and they're already planning how to use you against him. My stomach twisted with fear, but I refused to let her see it affect me. If you're trying to scare me, I'm trying to save your life, Serena cut me off sharply. And possibly Cyrus's as well. Because right now you're not an asset to him, you're a liability, a weakness that his enemies will exploit without hesitation. The words hit harder than I wanted to admit. Wasn't this exactly what I'd feared? That I would be a burden, something that would put Cyrus in danger? Think about it logically, Serena continued, her voice taking on a reasonable tone that somehow felt more threatening than her earlier mockery. You have no training, no experience in this world, no way to protect yourself. When his enemies come for you, and they will come, what will you do? Hide behind Cyrus? Watch as he puts himself in danger to save you. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I blinked them back furiously. You don't know anything about us. I know that Cyrus Graves has never shown weakness before, never cared enough about anyone to compromise his position. But now he has you, and that changes everything. His rivals are already circling, waiting for their opportunity. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photograph. It was grainy, clearly taken from a distance, but I could make out figures in what looked like a warehouse. The image quality was poor, but I could see weapons, threatening poses. These men, they're already discussing ways to kidnap you, to torture you, to use you as leverage against Cyrus. This photo was taken yesterday, less than 24 hours after you entered his life. My blood ran cold. The reality of what she was saying crashed over me like a wave. I'd been so caught up in the fairy tale of being wanted, being chosen, that I hadn't fully considered what it meant to be connected to someone like Cyrus. What do you want from me? I asked quietly. Serena's expression shifted to something resembling sympathy, though I didn't trust it for a second. I want you to leave, quietly, before anyone gets hurt. Write Cyrus a note explaining you can't handle this life, and disappear. He'll be angry initially, but he'll get over it, and you'll be safe. You want me to just abandon him? I want you to save him from making a fatal mistake, she corrected. Love makes people vulnerable, Evan. And in Cyrus's world, vulnerability equals death. If you truly care about him, you'll lop away before your presence gets him killed. The logic was sound, terrifyingly so, but something about it felt wrong. This wasn't concern for Cyrus's well-being. This was manipulation. I could see it in her eyes, hear it in the slight edge to her voice. Why do you care so much? I challenged. What's your real agenda here? Serena's mask slipped for just a moment, revealing something cold and calculating underneath. My agenda is maintaining order. Cyrus getting distracted by a romance isn't good for business. It's not good for anyone. Before I could respond, before I could process what to do next, the penthouse door burst open with enough force to make us both jump. Cyrus stood in the doorway, and the expression on his face was absolutely terrifying. I'd seen him powerful, protective, even tender. But this was the mafia boss the city feared. His gray eyes blazed with fury, his jaw set in a hard line, every muscle in his body radiating lethal intent. Serena, he said her name like a death sentence. Her confident facade cracked immediately. Cyrus, I was just, get out. Each word was sharp, final, leaving no room for argument. But she tried anyway. I was helping. He needs to understand. You have 3 seconds to leave my home before I forget that you're Blake's wife. 1. Serena's face went pale. She looked between Cyrus and me, seeming to realize that she'd crossed a line there was no coming back from. 2. She practically ran for the door, her earlier composure completely shattered. The door slammed behind her, and suddenly Cyrus was crossing the room to me. I was shaking, I realized, my whole body trembling with the aftermath of fear and confusion. When Cyrus reached me, he didn't say anything at first. He just pulled me into his arms, holding me so tightly I could barely breathe. "I'm sorry," he whispered into my hair. "I'm so sorry. I should never have left you alone. This is my fault." I shook my head against his chest. She said things about enemies and danger, and everything she said was designed to manipulate you into leaving me. Cyrus said firmly, "Yes, there's danger. I won't lie about that. But I will protect you. With everything I have, I'll keep you safe." He pulled back just enough to cup my face in his hands, forcing me to meet his intense gaze. "You are not my weakness, Evan. You're my strength. Don't ever let anyone convince you otherwise." The next morning, I woke to find Cyrus already awake beside me, propped up on one elbow and watching me with an expression I couldn't quite read. His hand rested possessively on my hip, and I could coo the weight of his protective instincts even in this quiet moment. "How long have you been awake?" I asked, my voice still rough from sleep. "A while," he admitted. "I couldn't stop thinking about yesterday, about Serena getting to you while I was gone." I reached up and touched his face, feeling the slight stubble on his jaw. "I'm okay. You came back. You protected me, but I shouldn't have had to. You should never have been in that position." His jaw clenched with frustration. "I'm having the security protocols completely revamped. No one gets near you without my explicit expli." I could see the guilt eating at him, and I understood it. He blamed himself for what had happened, even though I'd been the one who opened the door against my better judgment. "Can I ask you something?" I said softly. "Anything. Will there always be threats? People trying to use me to get to you?" Cyrus was silent for a moment, clearly weighing how honest to be. "Yes. As long as I'm in this life, there will be enemies. People who see you as a way to hurt me. That's the reality of my world." "Then teach me," I said suddenly, the decision crystallizing in my mind. "Teach me how to protect myself. How to survive in your world. I don't want to be helpless. I don't want to be a liability." Something shifted in Cyrus's expression. Surprise, followed by pride, followed by something tender. "You're not a liability, Evan. You never have been. But I could be stronger, more prepared. If I'm going to be part of your life, I need to know how to handle myself." I sat up, meeting his eyes with determination. "I want to learn self-defense. I want to understand your world. I want to be someone you don't have to constantly worry about." Cyrus sat up as well, studying me intently. "This isn't going to be easy. Training will be physically demanding, sometimes painful, and learning about my world, some of what you'll discover won't be pleasant. I understand, but I'm not fragile. I'm tougher than I look." I took his hand. "Please, let me do this." He was quiet for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "All right, we'll start today. But we do this properly, with a professional trainer, proper equipment, everything you need to learn safely and effectively." "Thank you," I said, relief flooding through me. Cyrus leaned forward and kissed my forehead. "Thank you for wanting to try, for not running away after yesterday." After breakfast, Cyrus took me to his private office building. I'd expected something cold and corporate, but the space was surprisingly refined. Dark wood, leather furniture, and an atmosphere of quiet power. People greeted him respectfully as we passed, and I noticed how their eyes flickered to me with curiosity and something like respect. In his office, Cyrus showed me around, explaining different aspects of his operations. He was remarkably candid, not hiding the darker elements but presenting everything with honest clarity. I appreciated that he didn't try to sugarcoat his world for me. "This is Marcus," Cyrus said when a tall, muscular man entered the office. "He's head of my security team, and he'll be overseeing your training." Marcus looked me over with a professional assessment that somehow didn't feel judgmental. "You serious about this? Training isn't a hobby, it's a commitment." "I'm serious," I said firmly. He nodded, apparently satisfied. "Good. We start tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Wear comfortable clothes you can move in." After Marcus left, Cyrus pulled me close. "I'm proud of you for doing this. But remember, no matter how much training you get, I'll still protect you. That's non-negotiable." "I know, but now maybe I can protect myself too. And maybe even help protect you." His expression softened into that rare, genuine smile that transformed his whole face. "You already protect me, Evan, just by being here, by giving me something worth fighting for." The weeks that followed were intense. Marcus proved to be a demanding but fair instructor. Every morning started with physical conditioning, running, strength training, exercises that left me exhausted and sore. Then came the actual self-defense techniques. How to break holds, where to strike to incapacitate an attacker, how to be aware of my surroundings. I was terrible at first, clumsy and awkward, falling more than fighting. But Marcus never mocked me, and Cyrus, who sometimes watched the training sessions, always looked proud even when I messed up. "You're improving faster than I expected," Marcus commented one morning after I successfully executed a defense move. "You've got good instincts once you stop overthinking." The praise meant more than he probably knew. For the first time in my life I felt capable, strong, like I was becoming someone who could stand beside Cyrus rather than just behind him. One evening, after a particularly grueling training session, Cyrus drew me a hot bath and insisted on helping me into it. The intimacy of the gesture, caring for my sore muscles, washing my hair, felt more profound than any grand romantic gesture. "You don't have to do this," I said as he massaged shampoo into my scalp. "I want to. Let me take care of you." As his fingers worked through my hair, I reflected on how much had changed. The terrified Omega who'd walked into a club weeks ago felt like a different person. I was still soft, still gentle at my core, but now there was steel underneath. Confidence I'd never had before. "What are you thinking?" Cyrus asked. "That I'm happy, that I'm becoming who I'm meant to be, and that it's because of you." He leaned down and kissed the mark on my neck, the one he'd given me, claiming me as his. "No, it's because of you. I just gave you the space to grow into your strength." That strength was always there. 3 months had passed since that night at the club. 3 months of training, learning, growing. I'd changed in ways I never imagined possible, physically stronger, mentally tougher, more confident in myself and my place in Cyrus's world. But tonight felt different. Special, like something was about to shift between us again. We'd just returned from a charity gala that Cyrus had to attend for business purposes. I'd been nervous about going, about being in public as his partner, but it had gone well. People had been polite, even welcoming, and Cyrus had kept me close all night, his hand on my back, his presence a constant reassurance. Now back in the penthouse, he seemed contemplative. He'd loosened his tie and rolled up his sleeves, standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows and looking out at the city lights. "You did well tonight," he said without turning around. "I know these events aren't easy. It helped having you there," I replied, joining him at the window, "though I still can't believe Mrs. Henderson told me I was good for you. That was unexpected." Cyrus chuckled softly. "She's known me a long time. She's never seen me content. Until now." He turned to face me, and there was something in his expression that made my breath catch. Vulnerability mixed with determination. "Evan, there's something I need to talk to you about. Something important." My heart started beating faster. "Okay." He took both my hands in his thumbs stroking across my knuckles in a soothing gesture. "These past months with you have been the best of my life. You've changed everything for me, made me want things I never thought I could have." "Cyrus, let me finish," he said gently. "I know we've talked about commitment, about you being mine, but I want more than that. I want everything. I want the bond, the mating mark, the permanent connection that can never be broken." My breath stopped entirely. He was talking about the ultimate commitment between an alpha and omega, a bond that was biological, emotional, and completely irreversible. "I'm asking you to be my bonded mate, Evan. Not because of instinct or obligation, but because I love you, because I want to spend the rest of my life with you, because the thought of existing without you is unbearable." Tears welled up in my eyes. This was real. This was happening. Cyrus Graves, the most powerful alpha in the city, was asking me, imperfect, once insecure me, to be his forever. "I love you too," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "So much. But are you sure? Once we do this, there's no going back. You'll be bound to me forever." Cyrus cupped my face in his hands, his thumbs wiping away the tears that had started falling. "That's exactly what I want. You forever. No take-backs, no second thoughts, no escape clause. Just us, bound together for life." "Then yes," I said, more tears flowing now. "Yes, I want that too. I want to be yours completely. I want the world to know I belong to you and you belong to me. The kiss he gave me was different from all our previous kisses. This one held promise, devotion, and the weight of forever. When he pulled back, his eyes had darkened with intent and desire. Are you ready? He asked, his voice rough. We can wait if you need more time. I don't need more time. I've been ready since the moment you claimed me in that club. Maybe even before that. Cyrus led me to the bedroom, and everything that happened next felt sacred. He undressed me slowly, reverently, his hands trembling slightly despite his usual controlled demeanor. When we were both bare, he laid me down on the bed and covered my body with his. I'll try to make it hurt as little as possible, he murmured against my neck, right where the bonding mark would go. But it will hurt. The marking, it has to be deep enough to create the permanent bond. I trust you, I said simply, and I meant it with every fiber of my being. What followed was intense pleasure, mixed with pain, overwhelming sensation, and the feeling of our souls intertwining. When Cyrus's teeth sank into my neck, marking me as his bonded mate, the pain was sharp and immediate, but underneath it was something else. A connection snapping into place. A bond forming that I could actually feel. Then it was my turn. With shaking hands and Cyrus's gentle guidance, I marked him in return. My teeth weren't as strong, my bite not as sure, but it didn't matter. The bond accepted it, sealed it, made it permanent. When it was done, we lay tangled together, both of us trembling from the intensity of what had just happened. I could feel him now, not just physically but emotionally. His feelings, his presence, his love, all flowing through the bond we'd just created. How do you feel? Cyrus asked, his voice rough. Complete, I answered honestly. Like I was missing something my entire life and just now found it. Like I'm whole for the first time. He pulled me closer, if that was even possible. That's exactly how I feel. You've made me whole, Evan. You've given me something I didn't know I needed. We stayed like that for a long time, adjusting to the new awareness of each other through the bond. It was overwhelming and beautiful and perfect all at once. As dawn started to break, casting golden light through the windows, I traced the mark on Cyrus's neck. My mark, the one that told the world he was mine. He did the same to mine, his fingers gentle on the tender skin. No more doubts? He asked softly. No more doubts, I confirmed. I know where I belong now. With you. Always with you. Forever. He agreed, sealing the promise with a kiss. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that this was just the beginning. My life had changed that night in the club. Yes, but it had truly begun this morning, in the arms of the Alpha who loved me. The Alpha who chose me. The Alpha who was now bound to me for eternity. Finally, after years of feeling lost and unworthy, I'd found my home. And that home was wherever Cyrus was. Forever.